So yeah, as I was saying, find a comfortable cross-legged position. Place your palms on your knees, resting down gently. And perhaps see if you need to just sway from side to side a little at the start, just to find that, comfortable seat and that sweet spot on your sit bones. Lovely. Then we'll relax the shoulders and just bring the eyes to a gentle close. If closing the eyes isn't comfortable for you this morning, you can just softly gaze towards the ground. Sitting nice and tall, taking a few conscious breaths here, just to allow yourself to arrive in this space on the mat on this Thursday morning. Lovely. And imagine that there's a golden thread attached to the crown of your head, and someone is very lightly pulling you from that thread, bringing length and lightness to your spine. Keeping the shoulders always nice and relaxed, and the jaw, the muscles in the face, soft and relaxed. Taking a couple more conscious breaths here with your eyes closed. Lovely, and then when you're ready to, you'll flutter the eyes open. And we'll start taking a few rolls with the shoulders. So we'll inhale, sweep the shoulders up towards the ears, and then roll them back. Try and make this movement as smooth as possible. Inhale, roll the shoulders up towards the ears and then back. Couple more like this in your own time. Imagine like you're shaking off a heavy cloak and it's just rolling off your shoulders. One more. Lovely. And then we'll reverse the direction. So next time you inhale, we'll sweep the shoulders up and over. Keeping the breath nice and smooth. Inhaling the shoulders up and forward. One last roll like this. Lovely, and then we'll come to stillness and we'll start to interlace the fingers of the hands. And then we'll lengthen the arms, bringing the palms away from you. And then inhale, sweep the arms up so that the palms are facing the ceiling. Remember to keep your shoulders nice and soft and relaxed here, but feel that lovely stretch in the sides of the body. And if you want to take that stretch a bit further, you can also lean very gently from side to side. Make sure you keep your sit bones nice and grounded into the mat. Lovely. Just a couple more like this. And then we'll gently release the fingers and bring the hands back down to your sides. Lovely. we'll start warming up our wrists. So we'll inhale and bring the arms out in front of us. And then we'll bend the wrists so that our fingers are pointing down towards the floor. Then we'll inhale and bring the hands up, fingers pointing up to the ceiling. Exhale down towards the floor. Inhale up to the ceiling. Exhale down to the floor. Just take a few more like this. So keep the arms still. It's just the wrist that is moving. Lovely. One last movement in this direction. And then we'll turn the palms to face each other. And we'll open the hands so that the fingers are facing the sides of the room. Exhale, bring the fingers to face each other inwards. So you're mimicking kind of a sliding doors movement here with your hands. Taking a few more like this in your own time. Lovely. And then we'll open the arms wide and bring the palms to face the ceiling. And then inhale, on an exhale, we'll turn the palms so they're facing the floor. Inhale, face the ceiling. Exhale, down to the floor. Just carry on again like this in your own time. And again, try and isolate the movement so that it's coming from your wrist and lower arm rather than coming from the shoulders. Beautiful. One more like this. And then we'll come to stillness and we'll inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, bringing the hands into prayer, gazing at the fingertips. And then exhale, release the prayer down to heart center. Once more, we'll inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, bringing the hands into prayer. And then release on an exhale. Perhaps open your mouth and exhale on a sigh, bringing the prayer down to heart center. One last time, we'll inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, hands to prayer, and release the hands down to heart center. And then we'll keep the hands to heart center in our prayer, and then just bow our head towards our hands so that we're bringing the chin to chest. And just notice perhaps a slight stretch in the back of the neck or the upper back. Breathing here. Lovely, and then we'll release, we'll bring the head back up to center. Back upright, we'll release the hands and we'll release the legs from our cross-legged position. Place the soles of the feet on the mat. And what we'll start doing, we'll start with the right, and with our hands, we'll start rubbing our legs. So starting with the thighs, and then gradually, in your own time, moving down towards the knee, and then down towards the calf and the shins. And what we're doing here, we're using touch, which is a very powerful tool to wake up and warm up our limbs. And moving down, don't forget the ankles and the feet. starting with the thigh, upper thigh. Don't forget the backs of the legs as well. And then gradually moving down towards the knee, shins, calves, and ankles and feet. Beautiful. And then we'll come to stillness, lovely release. Perhaps just take a moment to observe any sensations in the legs, whether they feel a bit warmer and a bit more awake. And I'll just turn sideways, so I'll show you what we'll do next. So we'll stay where we are, with the soles of the feet to the mat, and we'll place our hands to the fronts of the knees. We'll inhale deeply and lengthen the spine, perhaps bringing the chest, shining the chest forwards a little. And then on an exhale, we'll round the spine, leaning back, perhaps dropping the head. Inhale, let's come back up to a lengthened spine, shining the chest forward. Exhale, lean back, rolling back, creating a C shape with the spine. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, rounding. And just carry on like this. Few more times at your own pace. You see here we're warming up the spine and mimicking a cat-cow movement, but rather than it being in all fours, it's in a seated position. Lovely. Do one more round here. Beautiful. And then we'll come back to center. We'll sweep the legs back behind us and spreading the fingers nice and wide on the mat, tucking all 10 toes under. We'll very gradually and mindfully make our way to downward facing dog. So inhaling deeply, exhaling, lifting the knees off the mat. Lovely, bringing the hip points up towards the sky. Nice long spine here. You can keep a nice micro bend in the knees, micro bend in the elbows, so we're not locking out the joints. And just take any movement that feels good here in the dog. Perhaps saying yes with the head, no. Perhaps walking one leg out and then the other. Lovely. And then wherever you are, we'll come to stillness. We'll inhale deeply and ripple forwards into high plank. Exhale, come back to downward facing dog. Inhale, ripple forwards, high plank. Exhale, come back to downward facing dog. One last time. Inhale, ripple forwards, high plank, long line of energy. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Lovely. And then when we get there, we'll start walking the hands back towards the feet until we find ourselves in a forward fold at the back of the mat. And when you get there, let your head hang loose, the whole of your upper body relax and hang loose. And if you want to bring a bit of movement in the legs and warm up the hamstrings, you can walk on the spot, so without moving the feet, but bending one knee and then the other. Feeling that lovely stretch in the whole of the back of the legs. Lovely. And then we'll come to stillness if you're walking on the spot. And very gradually, very mindfully, we'll roll up to standing. So moving slowly, vertebra by vertebra, enjoying the journey up. And the very last thing to come up here will be your head. So take your time. Lovely. Taking a few moments to adjust to being upright, perhaps shake out your legs, shake out your arms. And next, I wanted to do something a bit different. It's not strictly yoga, but it's something that is quite helpful to get our brains working in the morning. So we'll inhale and sweep the arms up, and then we'll rotate the arms in opposite directions. So what I like to do, I drop my right arm forward and my left arm back, and we're literally swinging the arms, but the left arm will be rolling in the opposite direction to the right. So it took me a while to figure out how to do it. But yeah, give it a go. Lovely. Couple more like this. And then we'll do the opposite. So for me, it would be right arm rolling back, left arm forward. So yeah, it's a bit counterintuitive and requires a bit of thought, but I think it's a good thing to do first thing in the morning. Lovely. Couple more like this. And then we'll release and let the arms hang loose. Lovely. Again, giving our legs a bit of a shake. And then we'll come to stand at the top of your mats if you're not there already. We'll bring our feet hip distance apart. And we'll inhale. We'll bend the knees and sweep the arms up, gazing at the fingertips. And then on an exhale, we'll open the arms and swan dive all the way forward, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards, and then we'll step back with our right foot, and then our left foot coming into a high plank. Lovely. Breathing here, long line of energy. And then when you're ready to, we'll drop the knees, untuck the toes, and come down to the mat. Thighs, belly, chest, forehead. Lovely. And then we'll press into the hands, press into the tops of the feet. Inhale, peel the forehead and the chest off the mat. Low cobra. Lovely, waking up the muscles in the back. Exhale, come back down to the mat with your chest and forehead. And let's take a couple more like that. So again, inhale, pressing into the tops of the feet and the hands will come up. Low cobra. Exhale, come back down. One last time. Inhale. Low cobra. See if you can go a little bit higher this time. Exhale. Release. Forehead and chest back down to the mat. And then we'll tuck all 10 toes under. Press it to the hands. Then come back through tabletop and then back up into downward facing dog. Beautiful. Breathing here. Taking any final movements you wish to take in your downward facing dog. And then we'll gently release the knees down to the mat, opening the knees wide. Toes touch and then bring the seat to the heels and come down into a wide-legged child's pose. Arms along on the mat. If you want to give your forehead a little massage, you can also roll the head from side to side. And this idea of touch to soothe and wake up the parts of the body. Beautiful. Lovely. And then when you're ready to, we'll walk the hands back towards the knees. We'll swing the legs forward so they're out in front of us. Check that there's enough space behind you on the mat to come to lie down, and with control we'll gently release our spine down towards the mat. Lovely. And then when we get there, we'll bring the knees into the chest and just give the knees a nice big hug. Lovely. Then we'll bring the hands down to the mat by our sides and we'll lengthen the legs up towards the ceiling. And we'll imagine that we're on a bicycle and we'll start pedaling forwards. We're making the movement nice and smooth, waking up the legs here. Beautiful. Couple more in this direction. And then we'll reverse the movement. So imagine you're pedaling backwards. A few more like this. Beautiful. And then we'll bring the knees back down into the chest. We'll extend the arms then out into a T shape. And inhaling deeply, on an exhale, we'll drop both knees over towards the right. So we're coming into a supine twist here. Breathing into the twist and make sure that your shoulders are firmly and in contact with the mat. Gaze can either be up towards the ceiling or in the opposite direction to the knees, so over towards the left. Lovely, and then we'll gently bring the knees back to center. And then we'll roll the knees over towards the left. And the gaze can either be up towards the ceiling or over towards the right hand side. Lovely, and when you're ready to, we'll gently bring the gaze and the knees back to center. One last time, we'll hug the knees into the chest. And just giving yourself some gratitude for having dedicated this half hour to yourselves this morning and to your practice. And then let's place the hands to the backs of the thighs, and we'll gently start rolling up and down on the mat. Small rolls at first, but then gathering momentum until you find yourselves in a comfortable seated position. Lovely. Just adjusting to being upright, taking a few breaths here for a moment. And then we'll inhale, sweep the arms up, overhead, gazing at the fingertips, bringing the hands to prayer. And then on an exhale, gently moving the prayer down to the forehead for kind thoughts, down to the mouth for kind words, and down to heart center for kind actions. And we'll bow together to seal the practice. Thank you so much.